Well, this is unexpected. We actually got a package from somebody named Justin. They originally contacted us over on Discord, and they said they wanted to send us something based on Gamestop. I don't even know how that's even possible because, to my recollection, there isn't really anything rare that is out there for GameStop. Of course, there were things like the Resident Evil 4 Premium Edition, which came in a steelbook and had a variety of items along with the game. And then, of course, there was things like a poker set that you could actually get at a GameStop convention for employees who were there at the event. But the item that they said in question was not any of those. So this in itself is what would probably be considered a one-of-a-kind item. As for what that is, I'm pretty much in the dark as much as everybody else is. But I am curious. What did our guests give us? I don't know, but I'm actually pretty excited. I don't have any idea what it... Oh, I see now. On this edition of The Uncommon Valley, we take a look at an event that may or may not took place at GameStops in the US, only known as the 2006 Nintendo Powerplay Saturdays. Whether you love it or hate it, GameStop has been a retail store that has been around since the 90s. Originally known as Babbage's, it would eventually morph into the video game store mecca that we know of today with around 6,900 stores worldwide. Nice. And that's pretty much all the information that you need to know of on GameStop. Everything else has pretty much been said by other people, so we're just mostly keeping it short. But the topic in question is, of course, about a particular event that did take place as the 2006 Nintendo Powerplay Saturdays. It was brought on to stores to be able to advertise a tournament that was going to take place during the end of the summer and would eventually warp into 2 different months. One in September and then, of course, the other one in October. Well, that begs the question of why exactly does this tin can have to do with an event that took place at GameStops? And well, that is exactly where our guest Justin, who sent us this package, gave us this. Yeah, it kind of looks like a ransom note with just that writing on the front, but he wanted us to just go ahead and read off this story that he wrote, pretty much talking about his time with the event and how it was he got a hold of this item. Well, I don't know what it is they have to write to us, but hey, this is the first time that we've gotten something like this, so maybe there's some information we don't know exactly. Well, time to read to see what they said. Dear hosts, I don't think that too many people can say they want a
Nintendo Powerplay Saturday Champion necklace. It's made of aluminum and has a bunch of shiny plastic jewels embedded in it. Even though it feels solid in your hand, this accessory isn't worth anything close to the wrapper chains it's modeled after. To me, however, its true value comes from the story behind it. I won this piece of Nintendo jewelry through a contest at a local GameStop back in 2006. I read online about occasional promotions where customers could compete against each other by playing various DS games for prizes. I decided to try my luck at the one for New Super Mario Bros. I fancied myself a pretty solid platformer player and figured I'd have a decent shot to win the advertised Nintendo chain, or at least the runner-up t-shirt. The morning of the contest, I dragged my friend Misha with me to the Capitola Mall in a suburb just outside of the Santa Cruz, California. I figured that less people were likely to show up to that particular store at 11 a.m. on a weekend than the other, more accessible GameStop just across the street in a little shopping strip. Sure enough, when I got there about 15 minutes before the scheduled competition time, the place was a bit empty. I sized up a couple of the kids running around thinking, Are those pipsqueaks here to play? I can take them pretty easily. But they weren't here for the new Super Mario Bros. In fact, no one who knew about the contest besides me ever did show up, so the employees declared me the winner by default. They then tried to give me the runner-up t-shirt as my prize, most likely hoping that I knew nothing of the first place chain. I was worried that they just didn't have it for whatever reason, but I asked about the necklace anyways. With a reluctant, "Oh yeah," they brought it out for me and handed over the shirt as well. For the next few years, the remainder of my collegiate career, I'd proudly equipped my Nintendo Powerplay Saturdays champion bling before setting out to any parties or bar nights. Tipsy students would usually brush it off at first glance. After having them read what the text said, though, most of them would give me some geek cred. The amount would vary based on how conceivingly I described my legendary skill. Fast forward to today. I've been graduated for a few years and I've moved back home to Los Angeles, California. I don't find myself at too many parties or bars these days, let alone ones where the folks would appreciate my nerdy necklace. With last week's lead-up, however, I had just the perfect occasion to bust it out once again. Unfortunately, I don't think that very many people in the dimly lit Club Nokia could really read what it said anyway, but that's okay. Based off who hears this story, I either come off as kind of cool or pretty dorky, usually the latter. Thankfully, I don't care much about either of those perceptions when rocking my Nintendo necklace. I wear it to remind myself of all the good times, video game related and otherwise, that I had during my college-free days.
Sincerely, Justin. Well, that was kind of a downer, because he's not the only one. There were other people that didn't even get the chance to participate in the event, as most of these events were initially canceled. But that's not even the more bizarre part. Sometimes they would actually give these necklaces out to employees. There was a user over on a web forums called the Marks that mentioned about the necklace. My store didn't promote this whatsoever. We do have several t-shirts, stickers, and the official Nintendo Bling necklace. Yes, the damn thing was called an official Nintendo Bling necklace on the package list for the box that contained all the promo items. The necklace is a 2-pound silver crown on a thick sterling silver chain. So, since no tournament took place today, my manager said he's going to give the thing to the associate with the best productivity next week. Wow. You know that it's a pretty bad way to bring up productivity by giving you a piece of cheap jewelry. That's not really the best way to make productivity go up. As a matter of fact, some people would have just thrown this thing out. But Justin had this for pretty much a long period of time and wanted us to talk about it a bit on the show. Since then, some GameStops still do tournaments every once in a while, but it was mostly just a quick fad. They haven't done anything special like that aside from pre-order events, and even those are very common nowadays. But that unfortunately is the quick history of the Nintendo Powerplay Saturdays. This was something we never thought we would cover, as nobody really had any memory of it. It was just an event that was trying to push for more tournament play in GameStops, but eventually just had no interest. The only other reason why it would have failed was probably more interest in the Nintendo Wii that was coming out later that year along with the PlayStation 3. It was just a very bizarre time to get people's eyes on that store to try to push pre-orders for the console. It was an interesting tactic, but unfortunately, it would end up just wasting time and money altogether. But of course, that is it for this edition of the Uncommon Valley. Thank you for watching as we look to the past into the present. Well, this is something I never expected. We actually got a package from somebody. Oh. Alright, checking audio level there. Okay, we're good.